The Raven's Feast. The salt spray whipped across Ragnar's face, stinging his eyes and matting his tangled beard. He stood at the prow of the longship, the Serpent of the North, a silent and formidable figure against the bruised gray sky. The air hummed with a tension sharper than any blade. Behind him, the shouts and laughter of his men were a low, guttural murmur, a chorus of wolves anticipating the hunt. They had sailed for 10 days, following the call of the ravens and the promise of soft, wealthy lands. Ahead, the coast of Northumbria was a jagged silhouette, its cliffs a dark, foreboding line. Ragnar felt a familiar cold thrill in his gut. It was not the fear of battle, but the craving for it. The thrill of the shield wall, the satisfying weight of an axe, the primal roar that ripped from a man's chest as he met his enemy. He ran a calloused thumb over the leather grip of his broad axe, its iron head notched and stained with the blood of countless lesser men. They beached the ships on a stretch of stony shore, the keels groaning against the sand. The villagers, roused by the sound of gulls and the roar of the surf, stumbled from their homes, their faces pale with sleep, turned to masks of horror as they saw the horde of bearded giants, their axes and swords held high. The battle was not a grand affair, but a brutal, visceral slaughter. There was no shield wall to break, no pitched line to hold. The Vikings descended like a storm of iron and fury. Ragnar was a whirlwind of motion, a force of nature as merciless as the sea itself. His axe rose and fell with a sickening rhythm, each swing a final sentence. A young farmer, no more than a boy, raised a hay fork in a desperate, futile gesture. Ragnar's axe cleaved through the fork, and the boy's skull in a single, fluid motion. The dull thud of bone, a footnote in the symphony of violence. The screams were everywhere. They mingled with the bellowing of the warriors, the crackle of burning thatch, and the frantic prayers of the dying. A priest, clutching a wooden cross, met Ragnar's gaze. The priest's eyes held a plea for mercy, a fragile hope that Ragnar had long since discarded. With a grim, silent nod to his men, Ragnar let them seize the man. They bound the priest and 2 others to a heavy log, a grisly centerpiece for the feast to come. Inside the small stone church, the air was thick with the scent of incense and blood. Ragnar's men smashed idols and desecrated the altar. Ragnar himself stood amidst the chaos, his gaze fixed on a small, glittering chalice. He picked it up, feeling its delicate foreign weight. It was beautiful, but it held no true value to him. He was a man of cold steel and hard coin, not pretty trinkets. He tossed the chalice to his men, and it was quickly added to the growing pile of plunder. The village was an inferno by the time they left. Smoke billowed into the sky, a dark column that beckoned other ravens to the feast. The bodies lay scattered like discarded dolls, their lifeblood seeping into the soil that had once nourished their fields. The priest and his companions, their necks broken, were left as a warning. Back on the ship, as they set sail with their loot, a chilling quiet settled over the warriors. Their faces, smeared with soot and blood, were devoid of triumph or regret. It was simply the work of the day. Ragnar looked back at the smoke rising from the shore. The village was gone, a memory erased from the face of the earth. He felt no remorse, no sense of victory, just a quiet, cold satisfaction. The world was a vast, terrifying place, and his was the shadow that fell across it. The Raven's Feast was over, and it was time to find a new place to dine.